This is part of my Level Up series where I want to help people just improve maybe what they do or even just find the confidence to step outside their comfort zone to create content and, see how far they can go in life. So let me just put this on, try and find it. Here we go. So anyway, it's the Level Up series. So recently I did one where I spoke about the tools I use, from the camera to the microphone to the software to the lighting. And it's really just a way to get people to say, look, these are the tools I use. You can get the exact ones. I've even put links, product links. You could see it on the stores as I displayed it and spoke about each item. And it's not as expensive as you think. I spoke in that video, talking about the fact that some people pay £500 up to £1,000 or more for a camera. My camera is £110. It's 4K. You can see the quality. You're looking at it. Yeah, okay. The others can be even more crisp, but the price difference is, sometimes you've got to say that price to performance ratio, what I've got is just incredible. So for the price of someone having a fancy camera, which I'm not saying is a bad thing if you can afford it, but that's further on when you know you're going to be doing it consistently and it's worthwhile. Because when we start off, we don't have a big audience and things. So you really need that big investment to start with. Again, depends on your resources. But for the price of one camera, you could have my entire setup, minus the computer and the screen and things, because that's completely separate. But we talk about, for the price of a fancy camera, you can have the microphone set up as well and the lights and green screen. So I've done that there. I've also done videos on presenting, wherever the hell that is. Well, there they are, two next to it. Presenting, there's two parts with that. And that's going into quite detail, and maybe it might seem like I'm being a bit picky, but it's the standards. So I sort of see an awful lot of content creators, especially social media, where they repeat wording so much it becomes really hard to listen to them. They say okay, right at the end of a sentence, and it's too much. I've been seeing it again recently, and it just drives me crazy. It's like they're not confident finishing a sentence without having something to fill the gap, fill the void, if you like. And it just shows me that, okay, maybe you have experience of what the topic is you're talking about, but you don't feel that confident explaining it or something. Because to me, why are you filling gaps like that? Then some people will say, like, mid-sentence or at the beginning of a sentence, keep referring to something like this, like this, like this. Just don't need that. There's an overuse of the word literally. I had that happen in one of my videos because of seeing these people. You just pick up that mannerism. Drove me crazy, making sure I don't keep saying it now. But it's been overused. So within the video, although I'm picking at things, I was also trying to make the entirety of the point was, you can hear and you can see this because I showed examples, that is devaluing the quality of the work. So if something devalues the quality of your work, why would you persist using it? It makes sense. So you've got someone who has the potential to do really good. And if you did it in a spectrum of a 5-star system, maybe they're 4 stars, maybe potential to even elevate to 5 at some point. But because of the overuse of certain words, it devalues what you're saying. Now all of a sudden you take a star or two off because their communication's poor. And that's what it is, whether they like it or not. It's poor because if you can't listen to someone because of their communication skills to the point where you can finish what they're saying, then there's a problem. Now, with me, it might be I talk too long because I do like to talk, and that's the situation. But YouTube's long form content, if you haven't got an attention span, this is not the platform for you, and that's just the way that is. So, topics being on camera, I think one of those topics as well, one of the things there is, where do you decide to put yourself? If you're short form, social media is the perfect place. If you're after long form, YouTube's where you want to be. Of course, you can make cuts of your videos if you've got the patience for it, but that's a completely different thing. But again, find your niche. So how did this topic come about? I was actually thinking of doing something similar to this before, like as I was doing that one where I did the hardware and the tools, the software and things. And I thought, yeah, I might have to get onto this at some point. I've done something similar in the past, but I was recently doing FaceTimes with my daughter, and she has a good presence about herself, especially when she's loose and happy, like when she lets loose. So when she's not comfortable with people, she's shy. She can be reserved, so you won't see beautiful sides of her personality where she's just fluid and just fun. But when she's comfortable, it's so fun. She's mesmerizing. So you just get caught in her force field, really. So I was watching her and just thinking, if she was doing content creation, she would get a lot of attention. She would do well. And I said that to her. I said, you'd do really well. Like, she does her own content creation, but it's not really her on the camera so much. It's more other things, that she does. And snippets of things she enjoys and stuff like that. It's not really her like what I do here, talking and putting yourself on the camera, but I do recognise she could do well with that. And the thing is, a lot of people, they have maybe an overinflated, I don't want to say opinion of themselves, but an overinflated level of confidence towards something that when they try to step into that position, they get stage fright. So you can make something look easy, and then someone else sits there and do it, and they get self-conscious. All of a sudden, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to perform. I feel vulnerable. I feel insecure. And that's natural. So I said to her, "How do you think you'd feel doing what I do on the camera?" And she said she would be scared. She said she always wanted to do something like that, but she'd be scared. So I was just trying to ease her through it, really, just explaining that, as long as you're just yourself, you'll be all right. And it's just, there's tips I was given a long time ago, and it held me in good stead. So I used to do gaming content an awful lot. Let me see if I'm going to move around while we do this. I'm just going to be fluid, just for the hell of it. So I've got different channels, not always big. I've got some channels that surpass me. If we go to my older one, my gaming Inside PC Game, it's a very old video channel, 7 years ago. Look, this one's 7 years ago. This is really where I started out with my video content, by the way. Some of them on camera, sometimes I test different styles. Sometimes I just did audio overlay. I'll just talk and without me, because sometimes that's fun. It's just trial and error, really. But I also have, so I don't care about likes and follows and all that, so I don't really care. If it's only a modest following, that doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't make me think, oh, it's not worth it. I enjoyed creating it, so I create. So with that, it was a case of someone said, talk as though you have an audience in front of you. So if no one's there, just talk anyway. And especially with gaming, just communicate what you're doing and what you're thinking and how you feel, So there's all these different parts of it. So it's not this massive gap where you're not communicating. You don't have to talk constantly, but there's always something for someone to enjoy. So, for instance, I could probably get one up. Let's do a boring video. Let's do a boring video rather than something exciting for a minute, because we don't need it always to be exciting. I got my trucking. I love doing my trucking. I don't really do that many videos at the moment because I don't want to document everything I do. I recently got the latest addition to. Let's go here. So here we are. We do need to move over. I didn't think we did. We just did a bit of driving. Again, something as simple as that. We need to move over. I do get caught up in this game. We're just chill though, so I'd probably do switch off a little bit more than in other games. Oh, well, I'm not seeming to be communicating all that much. I think I just enjoy myself, to be honest. Maybe the world video. I'm not sure this is the one I should be showing. All right, let's come out that one for a minute. We'll do something like Fortnite. I think that's going to be far more beneficial. It's... a minute. Where? Let me just turn the quality up. It's gone at really poor quality. Oh, God, he's got all health. This one's got a shield. Oh, someone's got him. I think I died here. So this would be a good example. He's going to replenish now. Yeah, look. So it's not fair, the health thing he's got. He's got, like, his boost. Ha 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 ha. Got you, mate. This one's over here. Did someone catch me by surprising me? I remember this match. Who's getting me? Wait, there's someone over here. Anyway, not be worried about the game too much, are we? Worried about how we go. I don't think we can do... Let me just do this bit. So my health's already low because of the situation that's just happened there. I
Yes,
should have picked that
please.
up. I don't think I pick it up. I should have got the shield. That was a fault in the heat of the
I mean, I
battle. I
prefer
prefer the AR, the one I had. Whoa, shit. Ah, I didn't see him coming up on me. The point of all that, if you just listen to the way I'm communicating, I'm explaining what I'm doing, what I should be doing with the loadout, so why I'm choosing this, the problems with that, and then it's just excitement at the end because obviously there's an incident. But that's different content to what I do here. That's just something different. You know, I don't play up to the camera, up to people what they want to do with their stage presence, if you like. I haven't got the, I can't be bothered. You know, I don't see the point of it being anything other than yourself. Otherwise, it's just extra energy, you know. So we go back to my channel, if we can go back there. So what I think is really important is that we do what we enjoy. So let me just actually probably better just coming off this for a minute. If you do what you enjoy, it's not so hard, is it? And if it's something, I think in general, what you have knowledge of, but not, it depends what the niche you're in, really. I mean, if you're going to do video game content, I don't think you particularly have to be good. You could be rubbish but entertaining, and people would be gravitate to it. So I don't think it really matters, but it's going to be the way you carry yourself, isn't it? I think, but I mean, some people do gravitate towards extreme versions of people, but I think personally, people do. I think people are more likely to gravitate towards someone who's themselves. So it's wear your heart on your sleeve, just be yourself, and I think people love that. So if you was doing gaming content like me, for instance, and you just lost all the time, but you had this sincere attitude to yourself, and it's just you can sort of make. It's almost like you find comfort in someone else's suffering to a degree, isn't it? But you find it's harmless. So maybe you'd be drawn to that. I don't know. But there's so many niches, and like I was saying to my daughter, there's so much she could do, but it's up to her what she chooses to do in time, you know? But it's about just finding yourself comfortable on screen. Like, for instance, you wouldn't naturally release the... Let me just do this green screen out. Got all about it, to be totally honest. You wouldn't naturally, the first time you tried to create video content, release the very first video you did. That's probably not a wise idea. So there's different scenarios. Do you want to do content with people watching you? Like, so for instance, if you've got family members nearby, or does that make you feel insecure? Or do you prefer to be isolated alone and do your content there? You know, like me personally, I'd rather just be on my own. Just leave me to it. Let me get on with this. I don't need distractions. Let me just create what I've got to do and just have that. I think common decency really to give someone space to do what they got to do. But like I say, with her, I think she. I mean, I can as well. Like if I was vibing off someone, I would bounce off them as well. So I wouldn't be so serious, I guess. But there's no reason for me at the moment to be animated, excited, have all those different levels when that's not a natural way I'm feeling right now. There's just no need for it. Might better share an example a little bit later, actually, if I can find it. I don't know if I'll be able to. But ultimately, how we carry ourselves on camera is going to have a huge bearing on the quality of our work, isn't it? And so it's the way we present ourselves, but also the way we communicate as well, isn't it? Like I say with my daughter, I've just said, look, I think you do great when you get comfortable with it. But it's not, the main thing is not to feel insecure by yourself, because it's that idea that you're talking to. That's what her fear is. It's the talking to no one that bothers her. If you had someone you're talking to, yeah, so you can be comfortable with that. But the idea that there's no one there, she finds strange. But my attitude is, you're talking to a future audience. Yeah, they might not be there, but you're talking to them as if they're going to be there later. And that's all you're doing. And you do it enough times, you just get used to it. It doesn't faze me in the slightest. I can just switch from chilling out at home to just putting the camera on and just go into autopilot mode where I do what I do, because I've done it so many times. It's not a problem. So right now, all I have in front of me, on one screen, I have my YouTube videos if I decide to share anything on that side of things. On my main screen, all I have is me looking at myself on the camera. And, you know, how we're doing it now. How you see it is all I'm seeing. That's it. But I'm more than comfortable with that. I think it comes down to, I'm not embarrassed by myself. And I don't have a fear of being seen. And I'm not insecure with the way I communicate, so I'm pretty chill. And I think that probably comes. I would assume that's how it comes across anyway. Because when I've seen my content back, I've been quite impressed, to be totally honest, how I carry myself. But I just know if my daughter was to at least attempt to do something similar, and she persisted with it, all of a sudden it would click. And that's what it is. All of a sudden it just clicks because you've become used to it now. So you get comfortable. It's just normal. So yeah, I think trial and error is going to be important, but it's find that niche, sort of that area that you would enjoy. Because I was saying to her, like, she could easily do gaming content. She loves The Last of Us. I think she did content on that. People would gravitate to it, especially in clips. You know, she goes absolutely. The other side of that is she go mental. She can bother you for like 20 minutes, but it's so intense the way she talks about it. You know, as soon as you get one thing wrong, she knows all the background, the lore. She just goes crazy over it, and it's like I love The Last of Us as well, but to the depth that she does is a bit insane. Yeah, but she'll bother you and get it, make sure you understand, and it's like my god. But I think people would gravitate. That intensity makes it interesting. So I actually think people would love her for that. She also does her own makeup where she wants to dress like, she likes to look like Ellie. So she puts a certain jacket on, and then she just sits in front of a mirror, and then she does all her makeup to look like, you know, she's been injured a little bit and all these things and same markings. And she likes doing that. And I said that people find that interesting as well if you was to put that on camera. So you don't always have to be known for one specific thing. You can do multiples because it becomes you become the brand. But it's taking that step to get comfortable with it. And not everybody's going to always be comfortable taking that leap, you know. So I mean, on every area of content creation, there's going to be an opportunity to grow and expand. So one thing can lead to another thing, to lead to another thing. So whether we take those opportunities to advance, isn't it? But for me personally, I think one of the main things is that you find what you're comfortable with and you're confident with. So, for instance, if you was to do something similar to what I do, let's say you've got topics you want to talk about, it's being able to articulate it though. You know, there might be someone. See, I'm not worried about people like being copycats of me and things. Like people do what you want. You know, I can't control what other people do, but you know, like I said, I think I can make things look easy, and then I think someone else might stumble when they try and copy it because they're not being themselves. So, okay, maybe I say something and someone thinks, "Oh, that's a good idea." Now try and create a content on it and try and do an hour's worth of content. 5 minutes in, they'll be stumped. They have to have loads of notes because they're not being honest. They're not being sincere. It's just fake. So they can't keep it up, or you'll watch their content and it'll constantly have cuts because they're only doing 2 or 3 minute contents, cutting it because they've stopped the camera. Then they're restarting the camera when they can think of the next part. So they're not even doing it concurrent. It's not flowing. So yeah. Anyway, so you know, I just think be honest and true to yourself and be true to the audience. That's a good start, isn't it? But like I said, there's so many niches to content creation. Just because you see one person do something doesn't mean you have to copy. Yeah, I consider what I do rather unique, but it's only because it's unique because it's something I'm original to myself. So there might be people who do talk about personal growth and life in general, and there are people that talk about spirituality and share their tarot and all that sort of things. I blend it all together, and I don't see many people doing that. I see some people one or the other. You know, I don't really see the content personally. I see a lot of spiritual stuff with the tarot readings and things like that comes up. Don't see people really talking about personal growth and life in general. And the ones I do see, I don't tend to agree with 100%. So me copying them would be a disservice to myself because I don't agree with half the things people say, personally. And it's not because I'm trying to be indifferent. I just don't agree. That's not the experience I've had. That's not how I interpret the world. It's not how I process, and it's not what got me to who I am today and the progress and growth I've had. So if that isn't something that resonates with me, why would I regurgitate that to other people? Because it's easier for me to copy someone else. That doesn't make sense. So again, that comes down to confidence, doesn't it? Can we be confident being ourselves? Of course, you can create content without being yourself, by all means, but it takes an awful lot more courage to put yourself out there. It's a bit like if you was to be on a stand and do public speaking. It's going to be for the majority of people. It'd be a lot easier to read someone else's work because you don't feel so self-deprecated. You don't feel as vulnerable and insecure. because it's not your work. So you could, even if it's not right, you're only reading it. If you've got to go on the stage and actually just talk and speak from yourself, you've got the added pressure of, is what I'm saying good enough? Is it accurate? Are people going to like it? So you've got the concern of how you're communicating, how people perceive you, but also the quality of your work, which is an added layer of uncertainty, isn't it? And I do all of that, of course, on camera. But so I just don't care. So I think that indifference helps. But yeah, the only way anyone's ever truly going to be able to pick up and go with it is to trial and error, isn't it? And that's going to come down with all different things as well, like the way we present what we do. But unless we try, we'll never know. And I think that's the sad part in general. For instance, I think the world could, I think she should bring a lot to the world, my daughter. But if she doesn't want to be on camera, and one day she chooses never to be on camera, that's her choice, you know. But I do feel it's almost like a missed opportunity for her. But it's not saying I would pressure or anything. But I think if people allow their fears to stop them pursuing something, I think that's just, for me, that's quite sad. So, like, for instance, if she's just not interested in general, like she outgrows the idea, she doesn't really want to anyway, that's different. But if it's a case of you would like to try it, but your fears are holding you back, that's not ideal, is it? Sometimes the best way to gain that confidence, like I say, is to give it a go anyway. Because what it is, if you watch it back, some people have a hard time watching themselves. I find that strange. They can't even watch themselves back without feeling insecure. And that goes all the way out to people who like star in films and all sorts. Hear it so many times they don't watch their stuff back. I'm thinking this is mental. So, for instance, you might be so self-deprecating, but you watch what you did back with, a clear mind. Don't be so overly critical. Just realize that, if you start looking at yourself overly critical, it's easy then to just be unrealistic. Because if you had that same lens towards other people, if you was to pick on all the flaws you feel you're doing, you could then look at other people and see all the flaws that they're doing. I mean, I'm like that a bit with myself because I'm like that with everyone. So that's just different. But I do understand if someone doesn't really handle self-deprecation too much in terms of like internal trying to figure things out to improve, it's not going to be helpful to beat themselves up about it, is it? But the reality is, other people aren't perfect either. So again, it's like find the niche, but find the way to communicate that niche too. There's always room. I think that's it. I mean, that's the other thing, isn't it? You might think, oh, there's already someone doing it. There's already people doing it. You don't think people have attention span to consume a few videos? It's like me. Like I watch video content. I usually watch gaming content, sports. Not sports so much now. I'm phasing off. I think my habits are changing a little bit. But let's say I'm watching gaming content, and there's a certain individual you want to watch. Well, they only have so much content. So what do I watch after? You can have your favourites. No one's saying you're going to be someone's favourite, but then it's not who's to say you wouldn't. But there'll be room to have an audience too. And again, different perspectives. Again, it depends on the niche, of course. But yeah, I think if the fear is that you're not good enough or there's no space, there's always space. Always space for someone. And the other thing is, anyone's first content is hardly going to be the most inspiring or well crafted. It takes time. So it's like be a bit easy on yourself at the beginning. Again, it does come down to investing in hardware, but when we talk about our stage presence, our being on camera, it comes from trial and error, doesn't it? But I don't even think it matters if you're insecure to begin with, to be totally honest, because there's levels. Like, for instance, if we talk about like stars, when I said about 1 to 5, five's going to be, it's not a big spectrum, is it, between 1 and 5? But but each star level is huge, significant. 5 stars going to be the absolute best of the best. Everybody's going to have a different idea or perception of who's the best at being on camera, for instance. There's going to be people who are like incredible and you go, bloody hell, they're amazing. There'll be people who are absolutely crap and they're crap, and there'll be 1 star. So, but the reality is, I don't think anyone's ever realistically going to go on camera and be a 5-star general performer immediately, unless it's natural talent and it's just like, it's ridiculous. It's just not realistic at all. They're going to have terrible mannerisms. They might have the wrong camera angles. They might mutter to themselves. So they just go insecure. There's going to be issues. They might even ramble. They don't even know what topic they're talking about. They've got no knowledge of anything. So it just could be a chaotic mess, can't it? But that's fine. That's how we start. And then later on, we keep at it and we build at it, and then you see, because you're going to see that in the spectrum of things, aren't you? You're going to come across people who have poor quality content, and then you're going to find people who are just really good, and you go, "That I like that video, or I like the way they carry themselves. I like this. It's a good video." It's just levels. Like me personally, I'm going to get open to criticism, but I mean, anytime you put yourself on camera and you press publish, you're leaving yourself open to criticism on every metric. So you can mitigate that by not allowing comments and things. Personally, I find comments most of the time are toxic as shit anyway. I see it on other people's channels. It's hardly a community. Sometimes you're fortunate enough for community forums, but a lot of time it's toxic shit. People just get so fed up. They're so insecure, they spread it online. So they just be spiteful for the sake of being spiteful. Not realising they leave a trail of shit everywhere. But if you don't want that and you're starting out, just take your comments off. But if someone wants to say something nice, you're kind of missing it. So it's the double-edged sword. But we have to start somewhere. I mean, if I can find a video of mine, that could be useful. I mean, it's going to be hard. How do you find your oldest videos? Oh, I do. Press the oldest button in the top corner. Okay. So that's the oldest there. 12 years ago. That's the gaming stuff. Let me just get this up on the screen. We'll have a little look. So this is my oldest content. I don't think there'll be any voiceovers. I tell you what I did. This isn't me on camera, by the way. It's my vocals. This was 5 years ago. I did a review of a baseball game on the PC. I've got two here. Wait a minute. Why have I got two? Out of the park review. Why have I got two reviews? One's 4 minutes, one's 5 minutes. Let's do that one.
Baseball is an intriguing sport.
Right, listen to the sound quality is terrible. 5 years. It's only 5 years ago as well. Used the worst microphone. Very bad microphone. And obviously the sound quality from the software I was using. This is really important because it's transparency, isn't it? How far can we go?
Which doesn't have much popularity in the UK. My knowledge is light, but I am continually learning and improving from understanding the nuances of each position to the stats and rules. I am a long-time Football Manager player, back to the early incarnations of its former branding Championship Manager. The development of that series has been incredible. Over the years, most other management games have been inferior on such a grand scale to the point of mediocrity. But Out of the Park is a breath of fresh air, a similar alternative with a heavy reliance.
I don't like this video at all. Don't like the audio quality. I don't like the transitions. It's quite evident that I was using software to cut all the breaks because I probably thought that was a good idea, but it's making it too abrupt. It's so it's like, that's nonsense. Plus the microphone sounds awful. Again, did a video on that, didn't I? Talking about the ones that people should get, but one I got, and just go with that. Just about heads and shoulders above.
On statistics rather than tactics.
If there's a way for me to read this now, I'm talking too fast in my video, unfortunately.
Baseball is an
How can you get a transcript? We'll try and do this on camera because I think stage presence, like I said, being on camera is really important. How would you get the transcript up? Is it at the bottom? Show transcript on the side. Right. Okay. So let me do this waffle for the first few seconds.
Intriguing sport. One which doesn't have much popularity in the UK. My knowledge is light, but I am continually learning and improving from understanding the nuances of each position to the stats and rules. I am a long-time Football Manager. Baseball.
Okay. So you saw that. I thought it was terrible. Now, without pressing play, because that's just... Oh, we could do actually. I can unpause it. Because it might move this down. Wait a minute. I think it'll move it. So, baseball is an intriguing sport, one which doesn't have much popularity in the UK. My knowledge is light, but I'm continually learning and improving from understanding the nuances of each position to the stats and rules. I am a long... Oh, but anyway, you know what I mean? So I'd be able to do a lot better with that now. It's just back then, 5 years ago.
Baseball is an intriguing sport, one which doesn't go to the point of mediocrity. But Out of the Park is a breath of fresh air, a similar alternative with a heavy reliance on statistics rather than tactics. Football Manager.
I don't know if I'm going to get that. Right. So Out of the Park Out of the Park is a breath of fresh air and a similar alternative with a heavy reliance on statistics rather than tactics. It's just stage presence, isn't it? It's just big control of our communication. But again, that was 5 years ago. So the 5 years ago, I would have thought that was great, wouldn't I? I wouldn't press publish. but who would have thought? And I'm not even on camera on that one. But I think that's just specific because it was a review video. Let me see what else we can get. So we've got oldest. Let's click it again. Oh, check this one out. I've got no shame. This was 2 years ago. This is me without the microphone. And I think it's really poor when you ain't got a microphone. And I thought I was doing all right. Again, it's all sort of lighting and things like this. But let's have a look. Mess.
Everything I do is off the cusp. Whether it was the podcast episodes I recorded, the books I write, the blog posts I create, and even these videos. I have an idea and I go with it because it means something to me. And when I feel strongly about something, I have to talk about it. With writing, you get to sort of mold it and sculpture the words.
I'm not embarrassed, by the way. I'm not someone that gets embarrassed because I know versions of me led me to who I am today. So it's like, how can I be embarrassed of me when I know I'm good at what I do? Well, I know realistically, nothing happens overnight. It takes practice. So there's going to be what other maybe perceive as embarrassing, but there's many people at that stage now. But if they persist, they can improve. Of course, improve your hardware and things, but just not that. I don't say a lot now. But again, if anyone's seen my content, you'll know because I've spoke about it. If I pick up on anything that I think is annoying, which you might not always notice immediately, once I'm aware of it, I can't ignore it. And I will work on that. So it's fine-tuning the craft of communicating, which is just as important as being on camera. But look at the being on camera, though. The quality of our setup matters. The angle of our camera, the lighting we have, even the room we do it in. When you decide I'm going to record something, one of the main things is where? And then how are you going to improve that environment? It's like I spoke before, I've got a green screen behind me because it's not an ideal behind me. The situation behind me is not ideal. So let's try to just make it so the attention is on me rather than annoying surroundings. That's a good start, isn't it? On this one, you can see things on the wall. It's frustrating with the angle. It's not very clear, is it? It's not very good at all. And also, even if like we say that the lighting, on the other side of that, we can see there's too much exposure. There's not enough color depth. So I've probably used a filter after thinking that was a good idea. Clearly not. But we learn. But anyway, we'll go on a little bit longer. Pick up on some mannerisms here because that's all important as well. Stage presence and things. And I think all of this encompasses being on camera because this is what people are going to see. Now, of course, we're talking about hearing, but I think it's just as important as the camera work,
To create a refined piece of work, really. So it's really the message you really want to say when you talk in person, or sometimes maybe it ain't quite as refined, but I still think it gets to the point. I quite enjoy talking, really, and it's when I consider my career path, I always kept thinking it's going to be writing. But I think when you think of yourself as a whole, my strength is actually when I'm talking. When I'm talking, I can talk forever, and it's like in most jobs, that's a hindrance, isn't it? That people don't like it. But it's a big part of who we are, and I'd say that if you like communicating, I think that's a strength. It shouldn't be considered a weakness. If anything, jobs stifle us.
The are getting on my nerves, but how many people do you see doing that anyway? You go on social media, you see, like I could think, oh, that's terrible. It's not very good, but it exists, and the thing is, a lot of content creators are behaving like that now, and they don't improve, and I find that quite alarming personally. So, realistically, it's a refinement, isn't it, over time? It's how we carry ourselves on camera, but you have to start somewhere. So if I was terrified to present myself in that way, for instance, and I wasn't prepared to take risks, then how the hell would I have grown to be so comfortable on camera now? So the idea that the only way you will put yourself on camera is if you can be at the final stages is really, really stupid. Because it's not realistic, is it? It's not realistic to just turn the camera on, just start being confident, and then just creating content. Some people maybe they do. It's like duck to water. But personally, I think a lot of time is fine tuning and it's over time. And then you find your niche. So like what I'm doing now, I wouldn't have thought I'd be doing this 5 years ago or whatever. I was doing, like I said, I was doing my gaming content. The only reason for me to be online doing video content was me sharing my passion for gaming. That was it. And then I realized that, wait a minute, the lessons in life, the things I've been through. I could share that, and I know it will, with the right. I know the right people see it, it will help them. I know it's going to trigger the wrong people. There will people take exception to it. They will hate me for it. They will want to judge me in whatever way they want, and that's the way. That's what comes with putting yourself out in the public. So a lot of time it's whether you've got the thick enough skin as well. So to put yourself on camera means you need to take the good with the bad. But yeah, presence is important. But I just think ultimately though, is have fun with it. I think that's the part that probably gets missed over all of it, isn't it? It's just have fun. I don't sit here on camera and think, oh my God, you better be perfect today. No, just chill. You'll see me make mistakes. I fumble all over the place sometimes when I'm trying to set up another screen, like when I did that display capture there, or I'm just trying to think. There's plenty of times, well, I wouldn't say plenty, but a few times when I'm just lose a train of thought and I go, wait a minute, I don't know where I was going with that. And then I have to pause for a moment and I go, I don't know. You just carry on. I could edit that out, but yeah, it's just how I am. So I'm just sharing how I am. But yeah, I wouldn't want people having fears, their fears stopping them from doing something. Because I think the other side to that is, of course, we're talking about being on camera now, but if you was to picture, for instance, even a celebrity that's on stage presenting whatever they're doing, they've got comfortable over time to be in that position. You know, I don't think for a moment they was initially confident. I think most people, it takes time and you adapt and you grow into it. But I say, if you've got no audience, it's act like there is an audience. But at the same time, let's say you did have an audience. This is the interesting thing, because if you're doing a live stream on camera, so you're doing a live stream, you've got people leaving 1 million comments. Do you want to distract from the core work that you're doing to get the audience to keep talking to everyone? Because I'd find that jarring. If I was watching someone and whatever they're doing, let's say they're talking about life. Let's say I don't really see that content, so I'm not sure if people would, other than me, doing that stuff. I don't know what people are doing. But let's say, because I think life's a serious topic. If I was going to say gaming, but if you do gaming, I think you can get away from distraction constantly. But let's say he was talking about life and he was on a real challenging topic or something that people are really interested in, about uplifting themselves, overcoming trauma. Maybe going quite deep in situations, but you kept interrupting it mid-sentence, every sentence, to keep saying, "Oh, hi Jane, you know, oh thanks for the follow, Bill. You know, hope you're doing well." I find that annoying. Like, you don't. That's why I don't like that comment feed shit. I'd just rather hear the person talk and do what they've got to say rather than all that jarring nonsense that's just so pointless. You can obviously do that in between. So let's say you broke your content up into chapters. So you did that, and then but you take a break, and then you can deal with the audience. That's fine. You break it up that way. But as someone watching the content, I wouldn't want to keep seeing someone constantly interacting with the audience on a regular all the time, because I'm not here for that shit. I want to hear what they've got to say. But a lot of time, the audience want to make it all about them. So when the person's communicating, they just constantly want that validation to themselves that they're noticed. And it's like, can't people just sit and watch? So if you think about it, so where we say talk as though people are watching, if someone is watching, it can be even worse. So, you know, it's really picky at battles, isn't it? I just think narrate. That's really what it comes down to. Just narrate. So if he was doing makeup, let's say he was doing makeup, of course I don't do makeup, but if I was doing makeup, I would naturally just be talking about what I'm doing. So, I mean, I don't know anything about makeup. I couldn't even make words up. It's just stupid, isn't it? But I just bear with me with it. We really couldn't. Oh, freaking hell, maybe do face paint. I don't know, but just, you just talk about. So, like, for instance, let's say I was trying to do a clown. I'm trying to make myself a clown. All I would be doing, if I was doing it, I wouldn't just sit there in silence trying to apply shit. I would just say, I don't know what shade of red to use. I mean, a bright red, maybe a bit too much. It'd be a bit too glaring. Maybe if it's too subtle, it's not going to be noticeable. So people can see your train of thought. I think that makes it interesting. So they're watching you try to make a decision, but they're getting that monologue because you're sharing your internal thoughts. So it makes it interesting. So it doesn't make it flat and boring, does it? And empty and void. So that's what I think. So you say, okay, I like this shade of red. Hope everybody else likes this shade of red. I think, hopefully it'll go well. And of course, you then use your red to do your lips, or you do your little markings on your cheeks. If you don't like it, maybe go, oh, it's not worked out how I wanted it to. That's a shame. But you're not embarrassed because it's the process. You're trying to bring people into the process of creating this image of what your finished article will be. So maybe you remove it or you blend it, and it's a trial and error, isn't it? But people get to watch it and they feel part of the process. So that's what I would be doing. And then I'd be talking about that. Like, I don't know anything about this, but I'm going to try and blend it. Oh, no. And so I think failures are fun too. If you don't just act embarrassed about it, just make it part of the entertainment. And then by the end, maybe you've got this image and you go, oh, what do you think about this? And if you think that went well, not necessarily how it perceived, how you perceive it. You watch your content back, you think, oh, that was entertaining. If you like it, there's going to be someone else that likes it eventually. Not everybody's here to like everything, so don't worry about it. And then maybe you feel confident doing something else, another similar thing. So I say there's niches everywhere. There's so much people can create, but it's saying follow your passions. Like there's someone that I know who likes to do pottery, and I said to them, why don't you record pottery? I don't think they're doing that, but I just thought it's a niche. It's something I know nothing about. I don't know anything about pottery. So if I saw that, if I don't get content like that, I don't go looking for it. But if it was to come across me and I saw it and it was interesting, I'd be gravitated. But again, let's say you're sitting there at your, I don't know what you call it, the thing that keeps spinning it around, table, I don't know, and you've got the clay or whatever it is, and then you're molding it and sculpting it. You could, look, it could be interesting in its own because you're observing, aren't you? But I think if you narrate it though, so you used to do that on camera, get the right lighting, get the right camera angle, but because you're doing it so the audience is invested, it's gravitating them to it. But talk about it. Say how it feels and things. Go, oh, it's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit slimy. It might if you're using this, it might feel a bit weird, but you do get used to it. And what we can do, I don't know nothing about pottery, but I'm going to try and act like I do. So, if you use your hands, you can manipulate the clay and you can make so many different variations of shapes. So you make it really long, you can make it really wide, so you can make it thin, tall, short, and just show all that. So you can make a bowl, you can make a plate, you can make an ashtray. It's literally, you can do anything you want. Look at this, I can make a cup, and you just do it almost like you're playing like party balloons. I think people would love that because they're seeing something that's interesting because you're making it interesting, and they're seeing something they wouldn't normally see. And I think that's great. There's some people who do incredible. Even gaming is this. Gaming is oversaturated. If someone wanted to do it, though, I'd say just do what you want to do. If you want to do it, why not? An audience will find you eventually, and if not, you share. You're playing anyway. So what I always say that if you're a gamer, and you might as well, because you're spending significant amounts of time pursuing a hobby that maybe you can make money off someday and do well for yourself. Like why not give yourself the opportunity to turn that into something rather than just it's nothing. It ends every time it's a bit of a void, isn't it? An empty void. So you might as well give it a go. Very oversaturated market, but if you're great at what you do, it would soon grow, wouldn't it? But like, I don't take it serious enough for me. I don't play up to the cameras and stuff. Sometimes people want theatrics in that side of things. But like I say, there's always something for someone. And it's like, don't be overwhelmed by those at the top of their game. Because what it is, and this is one thing people maybe don't realise, even if someone's the best at what they do at the moment, and you watch and go, that's really popular, that channel, it's got millions of followers or subscribers, it doesn't mean it's always going to be the most popular. I'm not going to talk about people that annoy me a little bit, but there's some that I've liked in the past, and I thought they were the best at what they do. I always looked and thought they're great on camera. I love their content. It's just great. Then I started watching them regularly, and a bit too much, I guess, because I've liked it, and there was nothing else. They were the best at what they did. Then I just started getting fed up with them. I started watching their mannerisms. I started watching the way they were communicating, they're presenting. Then I started thinking about the content they're sharing and what they're doing. And it was just becoming the same old, same old. I'll tell you what, I'll share it. I don't give a shit. This isn't me trying to be an arsehole, by the way. So don't, it's not me going, oh, this guy's a pain in the arse. It's not. I'm just going to share. Maybe you'll see for yourself. I could probably show a couple of examples, actually, of some I like. I share like one I like there. Not sure if I'm going to have. I'll tell you what, I like this guy. Oh, shit. Oh, it's just messed me right up. Wait a minute. I need everything so I can easily get to it. Again, this isn't me being as professional as I can, because I normally would pause to do this if I really had to. Let's do that one as well, because that's really popular. Oh, I might have unfollowed them, to be honest. Probably better off pausing it. I think. I don't understand why. Sometimes I miss them, like right near the top. I think I unfollowed them. Oh, he does my head in. I'm going to share, because what I want to do, I want to share variety. I want to show who I like and who drives me nuts. I'm going to show some examples. I think it's about being on screen, on camera, so it's going to be really important. I don't know if I've stopped following him. He does my head in now. And it's not saying that to be rude, but I thought he was the best at one point, by the way. Like the very best. Yeah, I've unsubscribed. I couldn't cope anymore. It's just the way they are. Right. Let's go through this. Again, I'm going to have to be critical because it's the only way I can do this. This is what we're doing. So you're going to see levels now. These are what I would consider in the gaming tech creative side of video content that are some of the best at what they do to a degree, or at least they've got a large audience that would suggest they are. And I would say they are. They're all very good. But we're going to see variations. You're going to like peaks. Some people will gravitate. Some people find it just as annoying as me. In fact, there's one guy I absolutely can't stand. And it's not personally. I'm not saying the guy's an arsehole as a human being. But the way they do their content, I can't do it. Oh, I can't remember his name. Oh, no. I can't remember his name now. Oh, I can't find him. He's always bloody shouting. No, I won't be able to get him up, unfortunately. Unless it's on my feed now. Let me just have a little quick look. I wouldn't normally be on my feed because he drives me mental. It's usually when there's like something happening with Nintendo, all of a sudden he'll appear everywhere. If I just type Nintendo Switch, I know this ain't the most professional. Let me just do that and see if he comes up. First person. That's helpful. That's helpful. I said that, didn't I? If I go to this. Right. Let's move him there. I just want to share the examples of where we're going to go with this. Yeah. I mean, most of this is I'm going to be complaining about, to be totally honest. Let's actually move him down because I don't want him saying he's the worst. He's a good example. I know. Yeah, he's got 2 versions. Right, okay, let's get on with this. Because I think it's important. We're going to talk about stage presence. We're going to talk about being on camera, how you carry yourself. Everybody's going to be unique, yeah? See, at the moment, all you're seeing is me. Of course, you see a lot of other people. But we're going to just see me for now. Right. RGT85. This guy drives me nuts. He's got 500,000 subscribers. And for me, I just don't get it. I'm not saying he's a horrible person. Again, we can't keep talking like that. Let's not worry. We're not going to... When I'm picking at people, don't think I'm targeting them as a human being. This is nothing to do with this. We're talking about content creation. So how they are on camera, but how they present and all those things. It's not necessarily just about camera. There's no point someone being really good presenting camera. Let's say you're really good, you look the part, you wear the right clothes, whatever. I just wear what I want. I know, like if I wore a suit and things, I'd probably be taken even more serious, but I don't care. So it's not just about what we look like, it's how we carry ourselves. Now, we carry ourselves is how we communicate. So there's other things that contribute to being on camera. He shouts all the freaking time. It doesn't. If he just calmed his ass down and talk normally, his content would be 10 times better. For me, he's 1 star. I can't even listen to him. Not even 1 star. I can't. He hurts my head. What's the point of someone hurting your head? Stop that shit. You can be 4 stars, 3 stars. I don't know. Because he knows what he's talking about in the industry, but he doesn't half go on. So what are a lot of these gaming content creators do? Not the ones that play the games, the ones that comment on gaming. All they do is regurgitate the news. They don't really tell you anything new. If you was to follow the latest updates yourself through mainstream media, they wouldn't be adding anything to your life at all. They just copy it. I could do what they do. It's just I've got more important things to do than sort of repeat back the news that I see. But that's all their content is, and they get a lot of followers for it, by the way. So anyway, that's a niche you can go into. My advice to that would be, though, do it because you're passionate about it, but be yourself. Don't feel the need to shout. Your microphone's fine. You're just going to irritate people. So let's just go on here because he's going to waffle. Let's do this one. He's going to proper go nuts on this one. I haven't even watched him for ages because it hurts my head. So let's have a listen. I'm not going to keep complaining. I've already explained what it does my head in.
There is currently an ungodly amount of snow outside of my house right now. I'm in the middle of a blizzard. Thank you, you stupid groundhog. I want your head on a silver platter. But when the world is quiet and there's no one out on the roads and stuff like that, you start to think to yourself. You have these internal monologues, maybe thinking about things that you've thought about from time to time, but the world is so busy, you can never really focus in on it. But with the quietness of the storm, I've found...
Some people also have very terrible mannerisms. I see that. I hear a lot of women talk like this on camera. He amplifies this shit. Listen to the way he finishes each sentence. Instead of saying on camera, so I've seen this on camera and, he's being natural. He goes on camera. On camera. And it's like, oh, God, that hurts my head. Dragging out the last syllables of a freaking word. Let's listen to that shit again. Hurt your eardrums, same it hurts mine.
Monologues, maybe thinking about things that you've thought about from time to time, but the world is so busy, you can never really focus in on it. But with the quietness...
Why is he doing it on the last word? Didn't hear him do it on the ones before that. If he was normally talking like that, fine. But even then, that would annoy the shit out of me. If you did that on every word, it would be grating. But why do it anywhere? So look at this. He didn't say anywhere on that section. And then at the very last words, he does it.
On the roads and stuff like that, you start to think to yourself. You have these internal monologues, maybe thinking about things that you've thought about from time to time, but the world is so busy, you can never really focus in on it. But with the quietness of the storm, I've found myself thinking about a situation involving the Nintendo Switch 2 that I really can't make sense of anymore. It used to seem like it was pretty cut and dry. We understood the parameters. We understood what was going on with this. But as time has gone on, we've devolved into multiple different tiers, multiple different things happening with it. And I feel like if I am getting confused by all of this, other people are probably getting confused by all of this as well. What is the rhyme or reason for Nintendo Switch 1 games getting this variable pricing on Nintendo Switch 2 systems? Because it doesn't really make sense. It really does not make sense. So I want to talk about this out loud with you guys, and maybe we could come to some sort of understanding with this. Maybe we island, whatever the fuck it is, Wild West over there. And I think it really boils. And this all makes sense to Nintendo. This is all fine. Damn you, Devin Pritchard. Damn you. I'm just kidding. It's not Devin's fault.
I'm going to keep going on, but it hurts my ears. Yeah, I find I get anxiety with him. You know what I mean? It's just constant. It's so intense. The whole way through that video, it's just intense. It's like, relax, mate. You don't have to be like that. But what it is, people copy content. So let's say he was inspired to create content by someone else who was intense, or they're always in your face. It's a bit of like an American style, isn't it? So let's say people were behaving like that. They naturally think they have to. So they just mirror it and copy it, and it becomes their style. And it's just like, oh my God. It's so unnecessary. You can talk about gaming in a far more calm way, and people, I think, will gravitate just as much to that. So talking like this is just irritating as shit. I mean, look, let me try and find a bit here.
Because we don't want to muddy up these waters anymore that they are already muddied up. But 2026 has been an absolute shit show for this sort of pricing. Everything we knew about this has...
Why are you shouting in a microphone? I never understand that. I don't raise my voice. Why would I raise my voice? The microphone's going to amplify my voice anyway. You can hear me. Me going, can you believe how he's talking? Oh my God, it's like, this is so exciting. And relax. See, okay, you've got your own style, but don't have to go so loud. You've just hurt everybody's ears and they've got to start adjusting the volume. Because listen to this. This guy now, it's not his fault to a degree, but his voice grates on me. You know when someone's got a voice that's just annoying and it feels like sandpaper, to be totally honest. And some of these people, it's the same content all the time, though. That's the trouble. Seems nice enough guy when you hear him talking, but they know what they're doing. It's all just for likes and shit. Let's see. Yeah, he's going to be annoying as soon as he talks. Some people like it. I mean, I used to like him, but I can't listen anymore.
So I've decided that I'm going to address everything in this video. I know.
But let's look at, not the worst, not the best pause. But what I would say with this one, actually, look at the way their video content is. He has high value setup, doesn't he? It's quite cool. He's got this blur in the background, so he knows what he's doing with his video content. He's one of the higher ones with the video editors, and they know they've got production values. So he's got a very high production quality. Yeah, so anyway, so from that point of view, it's good, but his voice just gets on my nerves after a while. And it's always moaning. Some content creators always moaning. So he's always moaning about Nintendo's or something, you know. Sometimes he likes something, but for the most part, a lot of Nintendo creators just moan.
I know a lot of you have been waiting for this, since I also did the exact same thing last year. And here it is. I'm going to address everything that I did this year on YouTube. Because I had a lot of fun doing it last year. And I mean, it really was a wild year. Like, we're gonna get into it. I don't even know what this year was. You guys tried to cancel me at least one time. Which opinions and comments proved it's safe not to trust it. Which I do completely understand, which is why I always try and air a vision in my head. There's a lot, and he'd be like, film it. Because he wanted to make his final episode, he wanted to capture everything.
To be honest, this isn't so bad, but he's still being quite loud. I find that's an American thing, I think. It's just over freaking getting animated with stuff. It's so unnecessary. Oh yeah, let's do one where he's moaning.
Before I start yelling at you, because I know you've probably done nothing. 99% of you are innocent. I do want to say that, yeah, that direct could have been a lot more. I wish we could do like a full reset on our brains when it comes to these directs. Whenever we get one that doesn't really deliver, it makes everybody so
That whiny voice is just driving me nuts now.
angry. The vocal majority of people seem to be displeased. I streamed the event myself, and I have a deeper look at orbitals to begin with, which, by the way, an evil, but with that.
So his voice is hurting me now. But he's got high production values, you know? So he's got the space, he's got the funds to be able to do that. But he does well with it. I think he's incredible at that. Luke Stevens, for me, was the one I always thought he was the best. Like, when I watch him on camera, the way he can articulate, he's intelligent, it's great. But he goes down this self-indulgent monologue stuff he does. You know, let's say he's talking about something specific, which you're listening to. That's the whole point of the topic. He always drifts off into some weird monologue about something else. It's like a self-indulgence of himself that we end up listening to instead of the content. So if I'm listening to a specific game, that's kind of what I'm interested in. And he just deviates all the time, constantly pauses everything. And he don't stop touching his bloody microphone. And you hear it. So he should know that if he watches his content. The way he's got his microphone set up is that it's sensitive. So when he does all these twisty noises, these things, you hear it every time, even if he just touches it. I mean, I think mine does too. Wait a minute. Mine don't, because I've got mine set up that it doesn't do that. So he only needs similar software, but he's got massive followers. He's got separate channels. He's got this one where he does live. He's got another one where he does cuts. I'm not sure he'll find it. This is his main one. He's got 659,000 followers, subscribers. Is this one where he's just playing games? So this one's just where he's playing games, I think. You can see him touch his microphone immediately. Look at the top, this little, well, you can't see it. Touch his microphone straight away. Let's just do that one quick then. Just because that thumbnail does
Crimson
that.
Desert. I've been looking forward to this game for
video quality. I think he's incredible. I think his communication skills are top tier. So like if I'm giving people like S, you know, when you say S plus, like this, I think he's top of the best. I personally think. You've got the others that shout. Yes, his microphone's loud, his way set it up, but I don't feel he's shouting into the microphone. He just gets a bit self-indulgent-y, and a lot of his content is him moaning about the games. And you just notice, and there's certain things when he repeats, for instance, he does one of his channels, he reads the latest gaming news, and he goes through all that, but it's just so boring.
years, and I've kept a very close eye on it during that time because it just keeps looking crazier and crazier and crazier. Like seriously, anytime you see something, you're like, okay, that's surely the peak of what they've got. They do something like this, you know, it just keeps looking even more insane. And
that's someone that's got very comfortable doing what they do, by the way. Very comfortable doing what they do, and it shows. Like, I think it's great. That's what magnetized me to his content. I just thought, you know, I like him. You can feel his vibe. I get his personality, and I like that. But there's certain things, like I've just pointed out. And once you touch your microphone, I can't turn off from it. And it's just a thing. It's the same way when people keep saying literally, or they say okay, or like, all these different things. But you notice it, and it just becomes consistent. So if I know I'm going to get a video and he's going to touch that microphone at least 20 times, and I'm going to hear it pound in my head, I can't sit through through the video anymore. And the problem is he does it all so much. I don't know why he just stops. Why can't he stop doing it? It's just amateurish for someone that's really high quality, like really high quality. Because again, if we're going to talk about presenting skills, I can't think of anyone that does what he does that's better. Production value, stage prep, all these things. I think he's incredible. I love it. But there's certain things I don't.
I've talked about the game at length, as I'm sure you guys know. Some of you may have even subscribed based on some of those videos that I made like a year plus ago. For example, there was this one I made back in September of 2024 where I
Right, listen to the noise. Hopefully, I don't know why it's not working properly, because he's got his screen on at the same time I'm doing my screen. I think he's screwing all the lines up, because that's his timeline, not mine. Mine's down here. That's the problem. So it's throwing me off now. But listen to his microphone. As soon as I don't know if it's going to come out enough in my setup, but the noise it makes, and that's not the only time he'll do it, by the way. Let me see if it comes through here.
Based on some of those videos that I made like a year plus ago. For example, there was this one
all the time, but he'll do that multiple times in the video.
I made back in September of 2024 where I gave it a skeptical look. Sorry for the Lukeception right there. But in this video, I was basically going off of the information we had at the time, asking the question, is this game
We'll do that one.
240 hertz, 4K and 8K visuals, and even dynamic HDR. And for those of us who are PC gaming or gaming on high-end consoles, it even supports variable refresh rate, auto low latency mode, which automatically switches.
So we'll do a different one. We'll try and jump into this because he's going to touch his microphone a lot more. Oh, is this live? Was it? This ain't live.
Stupid. So he doesn't. But the third, the soon. I'm just something that I guess slid through. English Dot, Tiny Tusk. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you. Yeah, literally. You're trapped. I'll help you. Literally, that's Romeo for you. And then over on YouTube, Kyle's with the 5. Thank you. Someone said no, I slapo. I just read that one. And then Just Random Man. Thank you for the 5. Hey Luke, how are you? I know that I am probably screen page. Sarah Bunch. That's 3 to 4.
I'm not, because I'm skipping. We're not going to see it.
Like it. And you'll see as this continues. It seems like she made a very confident and firm push in one direction. He does it all the time.
Little
Take
touches
away
all the
from
time.
it, this would unite love the Wii. So if we make the Kinect, we'll get all of those gamers to move over. We have all drivers too, and they're going to come up when we talk about Asha here in a minute, because they are trying very hard behind going.
It's like he uses it as a prop. I mean, I'm not getting enough examples because I'm skipping.
Of being Fallout 76 clip started playing. Strauss, if you have a well-made that, people are going to.
Oh, we're not going to get into it.
Man, that's insanely generous. That's insanely generous. Thank you, my friend. You guys are crazy today. I don't know what happened. Is it what I'm wearing? Is it the purple? Thank you. That it will have during the server slam. Ooh, that's good. I like that. Case scenario is that a wide range. Okay, this down tough. I think that's why this story started making.
If you watch enough of these videos, you'll notice him keep doing it. He does get annoying. And like I say, he does ramble. But if he starts talking about specific things, like Bethesda with the Fallout, he just does not. The whole video will be negative. He just can't help himself. So it just gets a bit like, all right, this is tried and true. This guy I like. He's a bit eccentric, a bit different. But I kind of like the fact that people are a bit different. And I think that's a good thing. So let's see. Let's have a look. This one looks a bit animated. I like this guy.
This thing right here is called the Next Playground. It is, believe it or not, the 3rd best-selling console of the 2025 holiday season. Some weeks it even jumped up to number 2, beating out PlayStation 5 sales. It has completely crushed Xbox sales. It's even on track to stay in the race for some of 2026 too. This is the console wars these days, folks. We have a tablet, a console, a camera, and whatever the hell Xbox is doing these days. This is not designed for a guy like me. This is designed for kids and family.
What I like is the fact that the good ones, they reveal their personality, don't they? And you can see he's a bit different, he's a bit offbeat, but you immediately get this warm vibe towards him. So you trust him. Like I trust him. I trust that what he's talking about is something he's passionate about, and he's He's just very interested in it, you know, and he's knowledgeable. So you say, okay, I like this guy. Whereas we compare it to, I don't want to be rude, but if I'm comparing it to this one that was giving me a freaking headache, I'm much more interested in watching him.
You control pretty much everything with just your body. It's a little bit like a Microsoft Kinect, if you remember that. Except a Microsoft Kinect had a lot more camera tech in it. Yes, we've gone back. If you move the controller sideways, you have over the edge of a console table. That way, it could be recessed back and live in your TV stand and have a major concern with. It's been over 15 years.
They'll talk quite loud, the Americans, don't they? I mean, it gets on my nerves. But that's just, you can't get away. But he's not over-enunciating. Like, he's not acting weird bits to the end of the words, is he? He's just talking natural. He's just being himself. And I'm all for that. J2 Cents, very good in the tech industry, gaming tech. I like him a lot. Let's see. It doesn't normally talk about games per se, so that could be an interesting video. I haven't watched it. Let's see his most recent videos. Should be this one. I will do this one. Normally he talks about parts and things. That's the only reason I was trying to find a different video. Because he usually have.
So recently when we did the video about upgrading Phil to Threadripper 9980X, crazy big ass CPU, as if it was a Idiocracy's Carl's Jr.'s big ass fry.
Either my microphone's really quiet or everyone else is really loud. I just think everyone's is ridiculously loud. So I'm not doing that.
We talked about how long it could take for memory to train Code 15 and all that sort of stuff. And there was a lot of comments in that video. And I've heard these comments over time that are just like, my system does that every time. Why does it? It was a.
What I'm talking about, one thing worth looking here is the background. Like, look, he's in a production environment. You can see he does testing. And I think that's good if you can do video. If you can do video work in a setting that actually it favors the industry you're doing, I think that's great.
Idiocracy's Carl's Jr. big ass restore. You'll see it referred to as box, and a lot of fast speed is that it can potentially run up to the number on the box, and it might do that 2, 3, 4 times. So
there's others in the industry who talk really fast. They can be a pain in the ass. I find it looks a bit demonic, but with him, I like him. Good quality content. This guy does gaming content, but he only does audio. So this isn't about being on camera, but still production value. I actually quite like him. He does very short videos. Usually says something's crap, to be totally honest, but it's just an honest take, I guess. Refuting the liars and exposing corruption in game reviews. Oh, it's him just talking. He's walking around, so that's not going to be his normal content. What can I find? I think I watched this one before. Let's do this one. I quite like him.
So guys, I've been playing Vampire's Bloodlord Rising this weekend. Now, I didn't get into it was a play test. It's not out yet. It comes out on the 30th of this month, so in 4 days' time.
Oh, I haven't seen this one.
I only got to play it for maybe an hour or so. So this isn't a review. This is it is literally V Rising. You're a vampire. You build a castle. You get certain red flags for me in this. Everything else is serviceable, and it is very early in the game's build.
But I quite like him. You know, he's not on camera, of course, like I say. Then we've got Digital Foundry, who are very, very highly rated in the gaming industry because they showcase and test the performance and benchmarks of games. So we can find out how something performs. It's really good. So let's have a look at this one. So the videos are different. Sometimes they do it multi-camera.
This interim patch was put in place by Bethesda to buy some time ahead of a proper solution.
Well, that's
Hence,
not the answer
here we are.
want. We're trying to find the ones on camera. They've got some really good ones where they do a trio camera setup. It might be. Yes, I do.
When it released last year, I was a big fan of Obsidian's Avowed.
You're not going to get that much extra performance.
Did it work with VR, though?
It did work with VR. Did it work with VR? Without VR, it has screen tearing. With VR, it does work correctly, though. Whereas on Xbox, that's not the case.
And I think that's actually really important to point out because we were just complaining about most PS5 third-party games shipping without proper VRR.
As you can see, everyone has their own different styles, but I personally think the ones that are the most gravitating are the ones that are themselves. That's what I think personally. If you just be yourself, it's just far more relaxing, isn't it? Now, the overlap, I love the overlap. I did love the overlap. Now I can't handle, because of the way they talk, I can't deal with the repetition all the time. You know, if they're ex-famous football players in the UK and they repeat a lot. So what's the one? Gary Neville always says, I can't remember the phrase now, because once he says it, I can't get away from it. To be fair. He says to be fair all the time and basically. I just feel like commenting to be fair, basically. The king of to be fair and basically. He'll say it all the time. Go on here now. So they're great on camera. The camera setup is very professional, but they've made it a professional podcast. Who wouldn't love to have the budget
don't
they've got?
understand exactly how much lost the dressing room, then yeah.
Done it. Celtic, obviously,
correct,
we got not
had any.
He went to Swansea.
Yeah.
Virgil van Dijk, and he made a point.
Yeah, he's going to say it now. He's definitely going to say to be fair. He can't help himself when he talks.
People don't know what they don't know, and I take it, like I said, for me, I think it's a strength because I've worked my way up I've literally from the factory floor to get to where I am now, and I take pride in that.
Andrew, I interviewed, last question on this before we go back and look at, sort of your journey and where you came from. Last week I interviewed Virgil van Dijk, and he made a point that he felt that ex-players were too critical and that the current players were impacted by that enormously. Did you feel that at Tottenham or at Celtic, that you felt when, pundits, broadcasters, journalists were very critical of ex-players, of the current players, that it did get to them, that it did impact them?
Look, that's
I
been
didn't
around
do it
for
then. I
around
was
a day,
expecting it because he always does it.
I'm sure when you guys were playing, they used to have those. Remember, you used to get ratings of out of 10 or out of 5.
Yeah.
And you'd pick up the paper. I got a 3, and you'd get, oh, come on, mate. And so that's always been there. The difference now is just the saturation of it, right? And
let me see.
Introvert by nature, but football-wise, I can talk.
Yeah.
Cows go,
Do you have an assist tea?
Yeah, I'll have a tea. Thank you, mate.
Do you know something, Andrew? I was thinking about that,
Thanks, mate.
It was more when hammering, to be fair.
To be fair.
If you're playing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, you're doing Friday interviews,
Yeah.
you're doing Saturday after the game, you're doing Tuesday before the game, you're doing Wednesday night after the game, you're doing Friday before the Saturday. And I just did it for 4 months, and we had, believe it, we were in the Europa League and in the Copa del Rey, and I remember it was killing me. I said this to you before, Anna. Those six press conferences a week were
I did
killing me.
130-something last year.
Wow.
Because we had 60 games. So I did pre, post. Post you could do 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And sort of the individual ones. So I would have done between 130, 100. And mate, you know what?
It drains you, doesn't it?
It does, and you're going to say some stupid things in there. You're not always going to get it right,
We were talking about when you're playing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday as a manager. Andy said he did 130 press conferences last year because they did 60 games, the Europa League. And I remember, to be fair, you were at one of my last press conferences.
Yeah, your last one, in
The one
Barcelona.
I got beat 7-0
You're
by
going to say
Barcelona.
basically.
Oh, I was there.
So he just interviewed Suarez. It's actually if you go on YouTube, you'll see that press conference. I mean, it was brutal.
Oh, yeah.
It was brutal.
When will you get out of our club?
When will you get?
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
Do you know when you think sometimes, like in this country, we ask difficult questions, or sometimes pundits are a bit this. No word of a lie. Just watch that press conference back. It was. Do you not think you should? It started off with do you not think you should hand your notice in? Do you not think you should resign?
Oh my God.
And then it was.
Then you realise it was the owner asking you the question.
It was like, when you're going to get out of this club? When you're going to realise and be honest that you can't do this? It was literally like it was a barrage, and it was like 10 minutes of it, wasn't it?
To be fair.
What do you say if someone says that though? Like, when are you going to get out of our club?
I still believe in the process.
Project, you have a project.
This project is only just getting started.
The project.
I always win in my first year, I was going to say. Stick to Football is brought to you by Armclothes.
If you see him other places, it always says basically and to be fair. And it's just, for me, it's unbearable. So even if you're good on camera, you still need to be good talking, But there are obviously examples. We can go through many and find different people. I'm not trying to be like picky and try and destroy people. It's just saying that You know, you might be doing video content and you think, oh, this isn't very good. But there's a lot of people that are actually really successful that have immense flaws, and they seem to just get by just fine. So I think just find something you enjoy, because what it is, if you don't do something you enjoy or you're naturally attracted to, it's going to be hard to be consistent. The reason I say that is the perfect example is my own content. If you look at my, let me get back up again. If you look at my gaming channels, I keep stopping them. It's not because the audience isn't there, because that doesn't factor in, oh, anyone sees what I do. I just keep doing anyway, even if there's no one there for now anyway, because you never know what will happen in the future. It's because I don't always play video games. I go in heavy periods where I like playing maybe for 3 months a year, and then there'll be other times throughout the year where maybe I play it sporadically. But I'm not as invested in it as I was in the past, because I have more important, significant things to my life that actually bring me joy. One of which is doing the video. This sort of videos try and help people, you know, and also my books and things. And even other ways to relax. I like watching movies and stuff, you know. I don't want to just live my life gaming every day and it consumes every moment of your life. It's good in pockets of your life, depending on where you're at, and also different periods of the year. But I think to just live your life with it every day in, day out for the entirety of the duration of your life, it would be incredibly sad. It really would. Because you lose yourself to it. That's something controlling you. But when I'm playing it, yeah, I like to create the content. Sometimes I like just to relax and not have a camera on for once, you know. But I think that's the perfect example, though, is the fact that that's not something I could consistently do all throughout the year for many years. It would be sporadic. It would keep having layoff, like stop. So I've done a lot of there. If you look at what I did over a 2-month period, I've got about 104 videos. Well, we've got 104 videos, and I think that was a 2-month period, because that says 2 months ago, that one, and I'm not sure when the first one was. But I think it was over about 2 months. And I was just going hard on it, you know. I just wanted to get it, because I want to be able to watch it back in the future when I haven't got time to play games, or I'm no longer really interested in playing them. I can still revisit some games I enjoyed playing, you know, and I can go back and watch that, as opposed to just booting it all up, and instead of me going off playing it again fresh, which it might have changed, it's not as good as it used to be. I get a window in time. So a lot of time I do things for me as well, and then I share it with other people. So my gaming channel, it was always for me. But then I started doing some different things, thinking I want to help people see this or see that. So I'll do things knowing that it might help people for me to just explore this side of a game or something. But ultimately, it was to preserve the games for me anyway. So let's say I'm the only one that ever sees it. I really don't care. It's public, so other people can enjoy it if they want to. But for me, it's fine. I don't care. It's for me. The reading one, I was hoping to get people into reading, but again, I'm off and on. I will create more content for that at a later date, when I feel a desire to do it, because I do enjoy that. It allows me to test myself, to expand in different avenues, focus on narration and just enjoying that side of storytelling. I like that. And again, that's more for me too. But I want to get people into either reading or get confident reading. So it's not just reading. You have reading in your spare time, or even get confident performing, because that's fun. And I think that'd be great. Because people have a habit of, when they read, just read fast to get it over with. Well, take your time and actually enjoy the characters and enjoy the way of, try different styles of speaking and fit what you think would fit the book. You can actually make it really fun. And actually, that's something, if you was around, like, if you, let's say you was a family, I mean, it's completely deviating from this at this point, but if you was a family, you could get a book and then read a section each. And just make it interesting. You don't have to over animate it, but I think that would be a really fun way of getting into reading together. You make it actually interesting, you know. So that's really why I did them too. But like I say, it all has blips, because it's not my passion. It's an interest for a period, but not a passion. So if you're not passionate about something and you're doing it for the wrong reason, because you think, oh, there's a gap to fill here, there's a gap to fill here, or oh, this looks like I could do that, but you're not really passionate about it, it's going to be hard to maintain it. Now, you don't have to create as much content as I do, as consistent as I do, but you do need to be able to dedicate time towards it. And I think if it's not something you truly enjoy, you're going to have a hard time sustaining it. That's personally what I think. So follow your passions and you'll quickly gravitate to things. So even when I'm fed up or I'm bored or I just want to do something, you know, I can always make time for doing a video, because in this avenue, because I want to inspire people to improve their lives. So there's always a topic I can talk about with that, whether it is the writing the books, whether it's video content creation, for me, whether it's a spiritual path or whether it's personal growth, trauma, different aspects of life, because there's so many deviations, you know. It could even be talking about travel. So for me, there's always a topic in my mind that I can go, I can talk about that. I might talk about that, might not. That's what I'm doing. But yeah, for now, I think my content's going to dry up soon, only because I'm going to be working on books again soon, I think. And once I put my head in that, I probably won't be divvying here. I mean, I could do still if I choose to, but it's up to me. Now, so I'm not saying I'm the best at doing video content creation, because I don't think I am. But at the same time, I don't know how long I would do it either, though. You know, I've got other avenues I do, like with the books and things. So this, for me, this isn't be on end all. It's just part of what my process and part of what I do. But, you know, it's not something where I go, I must be the best. It's not, yeah. Maybe I will dedicate more time to it in the future. I mean, I already dedicate a lot of time, but you see the production values there where you've got people with incredible situations. Maybe if I had a studio, my content wouldn't, well, I know if I had a studio, my content would elevate, wouldn't it? And you could even have guests and things. You can have a banter and talk off with people. So, yeah. I might show a video, if I can find it, just like where I was collaborating with someone for a period, and it was really good. I know it might be under a different video actually, another channel, another profile I did. I think I might have to do a different one. I'm just trying to find the right playlist. Let me just bear with me. I mean, I know I could pause and it would make more sense to pause, but I'm going to get it up. Only because I want to show the different ways we behave. Like solo, I'm going to have a different energy. It's just the way I am. You know, I'm not going to be animated and be excited. It's not the sort of topics where I would. And honestly, I never buy anything other than myself. You know, I have different areas. Like my daughter considers me Mr. Bean. I'm like, what are you talking about, Mr. Bean? And she goes, because the way you are. Like, because when we're together, we're goofy, we're silly. And it's just how I naturally am, though. But, you know, if I'm not in the mood, I'm not just going to behave in a certain way. You know, it depends what vibe I'm getting with people, doesn't it? So, yeah, I don't play up for theatrics. I don't like that. I don't like the idea you're not yourself at a given moment. Of course, if you are eccentric and you're different like that all the time, then by all means. But I think if you're not, no point having it. I mean, I can, obviously, like I say, I've got it in me, so I can be, but I just really want to get this bloody thing up. Why can't it come up with the stuff? Oh, it's doing my head in now. Let's do this one then. So you see me in a light-hearted way now. It's not professional because we was just doing camera work together. Like they got a camera, I got a camera. We're doing the Zoom. I think it's a Zoom session. We was doing. So this is different now. It's spirituality. It's tarot. So it's whether you believe. It's up to you know. I'm not going to get into that. But this is a different side of me now. You can see me smiling there because I've got someone I'm vibing off. They've got really positive energy. It makes me feel lighthearted. So it's just banter. You know, it's great. And I've just shown another side of being on camera. It depends if you're collaborating, doesn't it? And you different ways.
I'm trying to set this up, but you're all like working.
See, the camera's not good. The microphone's the phone camera. So what can you do? What?
I'll start making it look. If you wait a minute. Just I haven't expected. Fine. I'm joking. I'll take this for these cards.
Let me see if we can get another one. Wait, is it maybe this one?
This is my very another.
I used to do them on the phone.
I've got an interesting question to ponder. One in which I hadn't thought at the time, only after through conversation with my mother.
So you see, we have different ways of being, don't we? Depends on our mood.
So I started getting a little bit
another one of those
emotional.
collaboration ones. I can't find it.
So
I
this
don't think I'm
is
going to find another one, to be honest.
I'm like,
I don't know what I'm doing in that one. I don't know where the videos have gone.
So a few.
Yeah.
Bitch. You're getting better stuff than me.
Well, no, what does the Empress mean then for you? For me, my biggest strength.
This is fertility, ground this, and we didn't we get the Empress was. Oh, that's the priestess, wasn't it? So the Empress isn't quite the priestess, is it? But it's more. This is more loving nature, isn't it? I'd say it's a loving nature.
She's basically the divine feminine. So let's forget.
If you say Goddess Gaia,
222 on the clock. 222.
Oh, nice. Is that like Gaia? You would assume it's that sort of person.
Excited when I say it, but you do it every 5 seconds. So basically, she's the opposite of the Emperor. They're together. Her and the Emperor are married.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
So
yes, it is
she is the mother figure. So even though it's a very feminine card, it's saying my kindness, my healing, my nurturing ability, my care for people is my biggest strength. The beautiful person that I am inside. She is the one that
because bullshit.
So anyway, there's different ways of being. Of course, you can see I'm more animated. He's far more calm, but it's good banter to people, you know.
I'd like to open doors for you. This is a no card at the moment. You're juggling too much.
Do you know what? Do you know what I noticed with them though? They won't ever tell us the truth because they don't want to get their hopes up.
Oh, that doesn't stop you put out all your love videos.
Makes sense because the question was, will honest that lifestyle would drive me nuts. So we asked, would I permanently be? No, I do. I know I could do it for business, but I think in the long term, I'm someone that prefers like the countryside and stuff. And I think if I was in a position where I had money, because you know.
So you've got different mannerisms, haven't we? Like I'm not bouncing off anyone here. So, look, from my own perception, I think I hold the stage well, like in terms of doing this. Even though I've got no one to bounce off, there's no external energy. It's just me and the camera, and hopefully, what I hope is that people feel they're getting an intimate connection with me. Like I'm talking one-on-one to you. You know, you feel like I'm holding this situation right in front of you, and we're just having that conversation. And that's what I want. And that's how I write in my books. It's a case of someone opens the book, you start reading, and you feel like I'm sitting across from you and we're just talking. And that's how I always want my content to be. So I don't make it an external reality by being animated, over exuberant, being crazy, because that would feel like now I'm watching some sort of form of entertainment. That's not what I want. I want something that's a bit more personal. But of course, like I say, if I had someone across from me, let's say we were talking, then I would pick up the vibe of the person I'm talking to. So either you're going to be a bit more defensive because maybe they're a bit abrasive. So there's going to be a different side to you that comes across on camera. So, hold your own. Or it might be someone that's really, really calm, really, really beautiful energy. Like Zach there had a beautiful energy. So you just bounce off it. You feel safe with them. They feel it's good. You can trust them. And it's a really nice environment. So then you're free and you let loose, But of course, there's times when we're on our own. And I think personally, a lot of it's going to come down to our ability to adapt. That's going to be important too. We grow into that, don't we? Hopefully I've done this justice, but I'm just thinking ultimately it's come down to people feeling comfortable to take a leap of faith and just giving it a go anyway. But if you're not doing something you enjoy, you're going to get fed up fast. You'll lose interest. So that's what I was saying. Like, I don't really care if the idea of someone being a copycat, because I'm invested in what I do and I've been invested for years. So this isn't a case of, I'm going to burn myself out and I'm going to get like, oh no, this isn't really for me, or, I'm going to get bored. I've been doing it for too long. Been on my path for years. So I only continue to elevate and keep building upon, But I don't know how long I'll always do video content, because that was it's not the priority for me. It's just something I do and I enjoy doing it. But yeah, if I feel I've spoke about enough topics and I don't feel there's anything I can do is going to add anything, then I'll stop, because the work's done. Don't see the point to keep overlapping something. But inevitably in life, like, we're always students of life. So it's always going to be something that I either learn that's new or learn that evolves an original way of thinking. So if I have an experience in life, I'll share it. So a lot of my life has been dealt with like poverty, suffering, so having to overcome those things, is getting myself out, from being in the shadows to a degree to being on camera. And it's taking that transition from that stage to this stage. And then where does that lead in the future? So I can talk about those things. I haven't had a breakthrough, so I don't know what it's like to be successful, wealthy, and all those things. I can't talk upon that live. But let's say that does happen for me, then I can talk about that, and I'll do it in a very humble way. It wouldn't be a case of I'm talking about this to boast in any way. I'm not flaunting anything. I'm just showing the other side of success. So you've got one side where you're creating towards that success when it can seem a bit of a lost cause. It can be frustrating, but you persist because you enjoy it. You have faith in yourself, but you love what you do. And then when you get your breakthrough, you get to show people how your life can transform. And I think that'll be a beautiful extra chapter, to the story. And I'll get to share that side too. But yeah, it's going to reach a point where, in terms of suffering and all the things I talk about, it's, maybe it does run out at some point. I don't care if it does, It's like, okay, I've done what I'm supposed to do, But I've done a lot of videos. A lot of videos. I managed to get a lot done in that period, And like I say, I think having a camera, like doing it on your own solo is a skill. But there's plenty of, as we've seen there's plenty of people that do it. It's not impossible. But yeah, it can be done. But hopefully it's gone some way. I mean, I wish I had my daughter on my mind at the moment a bit more, like if we just did the video, because the way she was coming across on camera as we do our FaceTime, I thought, you're going to be perfect. And it was a case of picking up the reasons as to why she might not do it. And it was a little slightly frustrating, but yeah, it was. So what I took from it though is the fact that because I do what I do, and there's plenty of other people that do the work on camera, it's easy then, in the moment, to maybe not give credit where it's due. Maybe it's easy to think, oh, I could do that. It's not really special, whatever. I thought it said when you sit there and then you feel vulnerable and you feel exposed. You think, oh God, I don't even know what to say now. So yeah, one of the things as well there, actually, it goes completely against, it's not to do with the camera work, but I think it helps. It's a life thing, but I think that will also help with the camera. Is she can, I said to her recently that strange one, you can be really shy, but you can be the center of your group. So when she knows people, she gets comfortable. When she's comfortable, she's the life of the party and people gravitate to her. If she doesn't know someone, she gets shy. So she holds herself back, and it really does cause a bit of a problem for her. And I said, I was a bit shy when I was younger, but I've always had this outgoing nature. So I think we share similarities in that. But through experience and going through life, I realized one of the things, and it's going to help with the camera work as well. If you feel insecure and you feel a bit vulnerable, the best thing I think you can do is throw yourself in the deep end early. Just do it, because the longer you keep yourself uncomfortable, it makes it even harder to take the step, because you built it up in your head, and now it's awkward. So you remove the awkwardness by just getting on with it. So if it's introducing yourself to someone, it's like, just introduce yourself. Okay, you might feel really uncomfortable initially, but now you know they know who you are. It just gets rid of it quickly. Just do it. And it's the same with the camera work. Let's say you sit there and you feel, oh God, don't know what I'm going to talk about. Don't know how I'm going to look on camera. You start getting insecure. Just forget it. Turn it off, start again. Turn it off, start again, go straight into it. Just start talking. Even if you waste the first 5 minutes just talking shit and you think, oh God, and then you finally get confident, you can just cut the beginning. You don't have to, that's the thing with video editing. If you got to that point, you can cut bits. If you want to, you can do what you want. It's your video. So yeah, it's just, I would say, just get going. If you feel awkward at the beginning, allow that to work its way through, and then just get confident doing what you're doing after. And like I said, you don't always have to share the first works you ever do anyway. It's practice, isn't it? So you'll realize the things you feel good at, the things that need to be worked on, and then maybe the things that are really bad. So you know to avoid it in future, don't you? And I would say one of the things to avoid is doing something you have no knowledge of and you're not really that interested in, and you're only really doing it because you think there's a successful side to it. People are not going to be interested because they'll see through it. Do what you're good at. Do what you're good at. Even if it's just something like makeup, whether it's anything, there's always a niche. There's always a niche. Anyway, it's like believe in yourself.